You wake up around 2 or 3 a.m., eyes wide open, heart beating a little faster than it should. Your mind is alert, racing almost, but your body feels heavy and completely drained. You lie there staring at the ceiling for an hour, maybe two, running through tomorrow's to-do list or replaying conversations from earlier in the day, before finally drifting off again, only to drag yourself out of bed in the morning, feeling like you barely slept at all. And the worst part, you went to bed at a reasonable hour. You did everything right, or so you thought. This isn't the occasional bad night anymore. It's happening 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week now. And it's quietly leaving you with less energy for the things that actually matter, getting down on the floor to play with the grandkids without your knees aching, keeping focused and sharp at work, finishing a project without hitting a wall halfway through, or even just feeling motivated enough to lace up your shoes and get outside. The tiredness follows you. It bleeds into everything. What if one simple evening habit you've always assumed is harmless is quietly making all of this worse? Not dramatically, not overnight, but steadily, night after night, chipping away at the quality of rest your body desperately needs. And what if changing just that one thing, not your entire lifestyle, not some complicated protocol, could genuinely help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, wake up with steadier energy, and feel more like yourself again throughout the day? For most men over 50, that habit is reaching for a drink before bed. Hi, I'm Dr. Hannah Blake. I know it might feel a little unusual getting health advice from a woman, but here's the thing. I've spent years working closely with men just like you, helping them navigate low energy, hormonal shifts, weight changes, and everything else that comes with getting older. My job is to give you straight answers, backed by real science, with no fluff and no scare tactics. So let's talk honestly about why that evening drink might be affecting your sleep and your energy far more than you realize, especially after 50, when your body is playing by a different set of rules than it used to. At this stage of life, so many men notice the exact same pattern, and it's worth describing in detail because you might recognize yourself in it. You go to bed feeling ready for a solid night's rest, maybe after a glass of wine or a cold beer to unwind after a long day. It feels like a reward. It feels like the edge coming off. And at first, it seems to work. You fall asleep quickly, maybe quicker than usual. But then, somewhere between midnight and 3 a.m., you're awake. Maybe you need the bathroom. Maybe you're just suddenly, inexplicably alert. You drift back off eventually, but it's choppy from there. Light, restless, unsatisfying. By the time your alarm goes off, you feel like you ran a marathon in your sleep instead of recovering from one. Recovery from exercise feels slower than it used to. Your muscles are sore longer. Your waistline seems a little heavier despite watching what you eat. Your motivation dips in ways that are hard to explain. The mind still wants to do more than the body feels capable of delivering. You catch yourself sitting down more, doing less, and feeling quietly frustrated about it, because you know you're still the same man inside. You still have the drive. You just don't have the fuel. These changes aren't random, and they're not simply the inevitable price of getting older. They're tied to specific, understandable things happening inside your body, and when you understand them, you can actually do something about them. After 50, your natural sleep architecture shifts. This is well documented and real. You spend less time in the deep, slow-wave stages of sleep, the stages where your body does its most critical repair work. Muscle tissue is rebuilt during deep sleep. Growth hormone is released. Your brain clears out metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day. Your immune system consolidates its defenses. And your hormones, including testosterone, are regulated and balanced. Miss out on enough deep sleep consistently, and every one of those processes suffers. Now introduce alcohol into the evening. At first, it acts like a sedative. It slows your nervous system down, makes you feel drowsy, and helps you fall asleep faster. That part feels good. That's the part you notice. But here's what you don't notice, because it's happening while you're unconscious. Alcohol significantly disrupts the second half of the night. As your liver works to metabolize the alcohol, a process that takes several hours, it produces byproducts that stimulate your brain. Your nervous system rebounds. Instead of staying in deep restorative sleep, your brain starts bouncing between light sleep and brief moments of wakefulness. You may not fully wake up every time, but the depth of your sleep is fragmented. It's like pressing the gas pedal hard and then slamming on the brakes. Over and over, your body never gets the long, uninterrupted stretch of deep rest it needs to actually repair and restore itself. Studies consistently show that even moderate alcohol consumption close to bedtime reduces time spent in slow-wave sleep and REM sleep by a significant margin, in some cases by 20 to 25%. For a man over 50 who already has less deep sleep to begin with, losing another quarter of it is not a small thing. It compounds night after night. Then there's the bathroom issue, which most men over 50 know all too well. Alcohol is a diuretic. It suppresses a hormone called ADH, antidiuretic hormone, which normally tells your kidneys to conserve water while you sleep. Without it doing its job properly, your kidneys flush out more fluid than they should, which means your bladder fills faster. Add in the fact that many men over 50 are experiencing some degree of prostate enlargement, entirely normal with age, but still disruptive, and those nighttime trips become more frequent, more urgent, and harder to get back to sleep from. And then there's the hormonal picture, which is the part most men never hear about clearly. Your testosterone levels decline naturally after 50, at roughly 1 to 2% per year. That's normal. But alcohol, even in moderate amounts, even just 1 or 2 drinks in the evening, can temporarily suppress testosterone levels further and simultaneously raise cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Cortisol is designed to keep you alert, responsive, and activated. It's exactly what you don't want elevated when you're trying to shift your body into recovery mode for the night. Over weeks and months, this hormonal interference adds up. Slower recovery from physical activity, less drive and motivation during the day, a heavier, more sluggish feeling that doesn't quite go away no matter how much sleep you think you're getting. Because the sleep you're getting isn't doing the full job. Here's the part that genuinely surprises most men when they hear it. They believe the drink helps them sleep better. It feels that way. The drowsiness is real. But what it actually does is trade a faster time to fall asleep for significantly poorer quality sleep throughout the night, leaving you more tired the next day, not less. And the more consistently that happens, the more it accumulates into a pattern of chronic low-grade fatigue that starts to feel normal when it absolutely isn't. The good news, and I want to be clear that there is genuinely good news here, is that you don't need extreme changes. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine, join a program, or white-knuckle your way through some restrictive protocol. What works is simple, practical, and fits into real life. First, and most importantly, stop the evening drink at least 3 to 4 hours before bed. This gives your liver the time it needs to fully process the alcohol so that its byproducts aren't circulating in your system when you hit the deeper stages of sleep. 3 to 4 hours sounds like a lot, but for most men it just means shifting that drink from after dinner to before dinner, or skipping it on weeknights when good sleep matters most. Men who make this one shift consistently report falling asleep faster, waking up fewer times during the night, and feeling more clear-headed in the morning within just a week or two. Second, replace it with something that actually supports relaxation. About an hour before bed, try a warm herbal tea. Chamomile and passion flower are both well supported for their calming effects on the nervous system, without any of the rebound disruption that alcohol causes. If tea isn't your thing, warm water with a slice of lemon works just as well as a soothing ritual. The point isn't the specific drink, it's creating a wind-down signal that your body learns to associate with approaching sleep. Third, add a short evening walk. After dinner, before you settle in for the evening, take 10 minutes and walk around the block. Slow, easy, nothing intense. This helps your body begin processing the day, gently lowers your core temperature as you come back inside, which actually promotes sleep onset and signals to your nervous system that the active part of the day is wrapping up. It also helps with digestion, which is another underrated factor in sleep quality. Fourth, protect your light environment in the evening. Screens, phones, tablets, televisions emit blue light that suppresses melatonin production. After 50, your melatonin levels are already lower than they were in your 30s. Dimming screens or switching them off at least an hour before bed gives your body the best chance of producing enough melatonin naturally to ease you into deep sleep and keep you there. Fifth, anchor your sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, including weekends, is one of the most powerful things you can do to strengthen your circadian rhythm. Consistency here compounds everything else you're doing. It's the foundation the other habits build on. Quick question, let me know in the comments where you're watching this from. I genuinely love seeing how many men around the world are choosing to take their health seriously, and it helps me understand what topics matter most to you. A few mistakes worth flagging. because they're common. The first is assuming that just one drink close to bedtime is harmless because it feels relaxing. Even a single drink within 2 to 3 hours of sleep can meaningfully fragment your rest after 50 because your body processes alcohol more slowly than it did when you were younger, and your sleep is more sensitive to disruption. The second is swapping alcohol for something sugary or caffeinated, thinking it's automatically a better choice. Sugary drinks can cause blood sugar fluctuations that wake you in the night, and even moderate caffeine, a cup of tea or a soda with dinner, can still be active in your system at midnight if you're someone who metabolizes it slowly. Stick with genuinely calming options in the evening. The third mistake is expecting results in one night and giving up too quickly. Your sleep architecture took months or years to drift into its current pattern. Give your adjustments at least 2 to 3 weeks of consistent effort before judging whether they're working. I had a patient in his mid-50s who followed exactly this approach. He swapped his nightly scotch for chamomile tea and added that short evening walk after dinner. He kept his sleep schedule consistent, dimmed his screens earlier, and moved his occasional weekend drink to earlier in the evening. Within 2 weeks, he was waking up fewer times through the night, feeling steadier and clearer in the mornings, and his words felt like he had his engine back. Enough energy to start joining his wife for weekend hikes again, something he'd quietly stopped doing because he just didn't feel up to it. Nothing dramatic. No supplements, no complicated protocol. Just small, consistent shifts that work together as a system. Let's go a little deeper into something most men never hear discussed clearly. Stress and alcohol don't just coexist in the evening, they amplify each other's effects on your sleep. If your day has been tense, your cortisol is already elevated. An evening drink can push it higher rather than lower it, making it even harder for your body to downshift into the recovery state sleep requires. This is why the drink can feel helpful on a calm day, but leave you particularly wrecked after a stressful one. Hormones and sleep are also deeply interconnected in a bidirectional way. Poor sleep suppresses testosterone. Lower testosterone impairs sleep quality. It's a cycle that feeds on itself. But the same is true in the positive direction. Better sleep supports healthier hormonal balance, which supports better motivation, faster recovery, more stable mood, and a stronger drive to stay active. Improving your sleep doesn't just make you less tired, it changes how your hormones are working while you're awake. A persistent myth worth addressing directly. Many people, and many men specifically, believe that alcohol is a reliable sleep aid because of how it makes them feel in the first hour. Research consistently shows the opposite. It reduces total time in deep sleep, and REM, the two stages most critical for physical repair and cognitive restoration. The feeling of sedation is real. The sleep quality it produces is not. One important caution before we wrap up. If you have diagnosed sleep apnea, take medications, particularly sedatives, blood pressure medications, or anything that interacts with alcohol. Or if you have any existing liver concerns or prostate issues, please speak with your own doctor before making changes. Everything discussed here is general guidance, and what works best is always tailored to the individual. Here's the insight most people miss, and it's the one that ties everything together. The timing of when you stop drinking matters more than the total amount you drink in a given evening. A man who has 2 drinks with dinner at 6 p.m. and then drinks nothing will sleep significantly better than a man who has 1 drink at 10 p.m. before going to bed at 11. Timing is the variable most people aren't paying attention to, and it may be the most important one. Combine better timing with consistent habits, steady bed and wake times, a calming wind-down ritual, limited screen exposure, a short evening walk, and the improvements you experience will feel more complete and more lasting. Because no single change works in isolation, each one supports and reinforces the others, like a system where every part helps every other part do its job more effectively. So here's the clear takeaway. That evening drink before bed, the one that feels relaxing and harmless, can quietly disrupt your sleep cycles, increase nighttime bathroom trips, and actively work against the natural hormonal shifts that are already happening after 50. Moving it earlier, at least 3 to 4 hours before lights out, replacing it with a genuinely calming tea or warm water, adding a short walk after dinner, protecting your light environment, and anchoring your sleep schedule gives your body what it actually needs: uninterrupted, deep, restorative rest. Your age doesn't decide your health, your habits do, and habits are something you control. Small, consistent choices made night after night are what determine how rested you feel, how much energy you carry through the day, how well your body recovers, and how much you're able to show up for the people and the life that matter to you. You are not powerless here. You never were. If this gave you something useful to think about or act on, I genuinely appreciate a like and a subscribe. It helps us reach more men who could benefit from this kind of straightforward, honest information. Drop a comment and let me know. Have you noticed how that evening drink affects your mornings? Or which of these habits feels hardest to shift right now? I read every comment, and your experience helps shape what I cover next. In my next video, I'll reveal the 7 everyday habits that slowly drain testosterone after 50. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you there.